What's up guys, Universal Mastery. So what I do on my channel is I break down the occult sciences to an extremely practical level so that you can apply them and use them in your day-to-day life and get real actual results. Now what I'm going to be talking about in today's video is something that not a lot of people know whatsoever, and it's something that is just a little bit more advanced knowledge when it comes to the tree of life in general, okay? And it has a lot to do with things that you're not being told, and there's a huge manipulation within what I'm about to share with you. So if you want to know what I'm going to be sharing with you in regards to the tree of life, then definitely stay tuned for this video. So the first thing I want to say is definitely make sure you go and you check out my Patreon. On my Patreon, I have exclusive content. All of this content is not on my YouTube channel. This is only for my Patreon. Some of that content is going to be geared towards actual spiritual practices that I perform on camera, and I tell you how to perform them yourself and make them as effective as possible. Okay, so half of the videos are going to be geared towards spiritual practices and things in that nature. Then the other half of the videos are going to be geared towards educational entertainment, which is very similar to a video like this. The video is educational, but you're also getting a lot of value from it at the same time. So where you're going to be able to find these exclusive videos is if you go to the drop down in the description, you'll click that, it'll drop it down, you'll see the first link at the top right next to it, it says My Patreon. That's the link. Click that link. In order to gain access to the exclusive content, you have to at least be a tier 2 member or up. And in order to be a tier 2, it literally costs $9.95 a month, and that will be a reoccurring payment. But if you actually do the math, that literally will come out to less than $1 a day. So there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to afford that with the value that I have on there. Now, as you go up in tiers, the benefits go up as well. So I will let you check that out for yourself. And I would love to give a special shout out to the top tier members of the Patreon. Their names are going to be mentioned in the parentheses right below that Patreon link, sending lots of powerful energy to you guys, okay? Other than that, let's go right into this video. This video is not going to be long. It's going to be very right to the point, okay? So this is the thing about the tree of life. So for those of you that know about the tree of life, you know that from the Sephirotic perspective, it goes Malkuth, Yesod, Hod, Netzach, Tifereth, Gavura, Chesed, Binah, Chokmah, Kether, right? In that order. So if you were to pull up a picture from Google of the tree of life, that's what the order would look like. And I'm going to get a picture and I'm going to put it on the screen so that you have an idea of what it looks like. Now, this is the thing, and this also goes with the Qliphoth as well. What I'm about to share with you also applies to the Qliphoth as well. So get this. So once again, I'll post a picture so that you have an idea. I'll post a picture of the Sephiroth so you have an idea of what it looks like and how the spheres are ordered. But in reality, okay, what you're actually looking at is you're looking at the back side of the tree. Okay, in reality, you're looking at the back side of the tree. So for example, so you have Malkuth, Yesod, those are in the middle pillar. Then you would have Hod, right? You have Hod. So if you're looking at the tree from where you're sitting, Hod will be directly on the left of you, okay? Then Netzach will be directly on the right of you. And then Tifereth is in the middle, so all the middle spheres are fine. But then you'll come over to, Tifereth, then you'll come over to Gavura. And Gavura will be on the left of you if you're facing the tree, the left. And then Chesed will be on your right. Chesed, that sphere, right? But you're looking at the back side of the tree. Flip the tree to the correct side, to the front of the tree. When you work with it, that's what you want to work with, the front side of the tree. Because if you work with the back side, you're going to get dumped into the Qliphoth immediately. And if not immediately, then sure enough, you'll get dumped into the Qliphoth. It's set up this way, and I'll go into that in a little bit more detail as well. But when you're working with it from the back side, as I said, the Hod facing you is on your left, but it should be on your right. Hod really should be on your right, because so what you're looking at, if Hod is on my right hand and Netzach is where my left hand is, then that's incorrect. So I want to flip around like this, and then Hod is now on the opposite side, or Hod is now in the place of Netzach, if you're looking at it from the back side of the tree. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is that the order of the spheres is going to be reversed or swapped because you're looking at the back side of the tree. Okay, so what you want to do is, so you go from Malkuth, Yesod, and then in reality you go to Hod, and Hod is going to be on the actual left side of the tree facing you. So if the tree's facing you, the left is going to be over here. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm facing you right now. This is the left. If the tree is facing you, you want to play the role of the tree. So you would turn as if, you know, if let's pretend I'm the tree of life right now, I'm the Sephiroth. I turn this way and I'm facing, like, imagine me sitting here right now. Imagine me getting out of my body, stepping in front of me, and going like this. Now, if I'm going like this and I'm also still sitting here, I want you to imagine this. This is hypothetical. Use your imagination. If I get out of my body, let's say like I leave my body, astral double, or I have a clone, whatever, and my hands are like this, and I'm standing the way I'm standing, then me sitting here is looking at my back. But if my double turns around, then I'm going to be looking at myself. And now as I'm turning around, this is now the left pillar. So this is the left pillar, this is the right pillar. This is my left hand, this is my right hand. As I turn, the left pillar is changing. So the left pillar is now on this side if I actually turn around. What you guys are doing is you're sitting where I'm sitting and you're looking at me from the back. I'm standing in front of myself right now as an astral double, and you're looking at my back right now, and this is the left pillar. So when you're looking at the tree and you see Malkuth, Yesod, and then Hod's on this side, that's incorrect. Because that's the back side of the tree. So if the tree was to flip to the front, Hod is actually on this side. And Netzach is actually on this side. And that's the real left pillar. And that's the real right pillar. Okay, so if you want to know a little bit more about what I'm talking about and you want to go into depth with what this is, there is a book that talks about this, and it's called The Holy Kabbalah by, I'm forgetting the name, A.E. Waits, I believe. But this book talks all about it, and it goes into depth. And I learned this from somebody else who's very advanced when it comes to the occult studies and practice. I learned this from an ipsissimus, and I learned it online. But I had to do some extra deeper research into this, because this is a big deal. This is a big statement for me to make right now, to say that everyone's looking at the wrong side of the tree. But when you actually look into it and you dive into it, and I was led to this information, I was led to come across this person that showed me this information, yada, yada, yada. And it's not an easy thing to accept, because there's a lot of people who have worked with the tree. I've worked with the tree myself, you could say, like, I don't know necessarily. Yeah, you could say that. I mean, I guess not as intense as other people, but I had a solid understanding that I thought the tree was the full version of it, right? Like Malkuth, Yesod, Hod, Netzach, but I had no idea I was looking at the backside of the tree until I came across this guy's information. And then he suggested a book where you can actually find the real information about the tree. And then he went into explaining about why it is that way, because that was the first question. Why are we looking at the backside of the tree? What is the reason for that? And it makes a lot of sense. So the reason why people are looking and working with the backside of the tree, and remember, for example, if you're going to work with the Sephiroth, because you're working with the backside of the tree, most likely, I mean 99% of people, because you, in all the occult literature, even in the Golden Dawn, pretty much all different, all orders, most orders are working with the wrong side of the tree. If you're only working with the Sephiroth and you're not working with the Qliphoth, and you're working with the wrong side of the tree, you're going to get dumped into the Qliphoth, and you're not going to be able to integrate those Sephirothic experiences the way that you may think you are. And it's actually going to lead you down a path that you do not want to go down. So it is essentially a booby trap. It is a trap. You do not want to do that. And even the same thing goes down with the Qliphoth, where if you're working with the Qliphoth is in reverse too. So you want to switch the spheres over. So you would have Nama. Wait, I want to make sure I'm saying it right. It would go Nama, Lilith, and then Gamaliel, or no. It would go, what is it? It's, I believe it would go Nama, Gamaliel, and Samael, and then Arab Zarak over here. It's just the same thing. So you pull up a picture of the Qliphoth, you look at the spheres, and then you swap them over the same way, because you're looking at the backside of the Qliphoth. And that's a whole nother, that's a whole nother thing that you don't want to go into. Which is interesting, because when I worked with the Qliphoth, and the way that you get dumped, right? The way that you get screwed by doing this, because you're working with the backside of the tree, is when you're doing your meditations on the spheres specifically. Like if you're meditating on the sphere and you're trying to open the sphere and you're calling out to the sphere and you're doing it in the wrong order, that's not going to be in your best interest. It's just not. And if you're not going in that order and you're working from it and you're working with it from the backside, there's a lot more. There's a higher chance. There's a much higher chance that you're going to, not get the most out of it. Okay. Specifically, if you're working with the Sephiroth and you're working with that from the back, from the backside of the, with the way that I'm telling you, and you do your meditations on those spheres, it is really easy to get dumped into the Qliphoth and not be aware that you're in the Qliphoth, and you will still think you're working with the Sephiroth. And that's not good at all, because then you're going to be fed upon by all the Qliphothic beings, the Ars Goetia, the dark gods, and you're going to look stupid because you're working with the backside of the tree. And most people that work with the Sephiroth don't really want to work with the Qliphoth. They don't really want to work with the Ars Goetia. They don't really want to work with the dark gods, the Qliphothic gods. So it is what it is, but there is a reason for this. There is a reason why it's, why most people's information is false, and why everyone thinks that the backside of the tree is really the front side. There's a reason, and it has everything to do with, you could say, the actual 1%. So you could think of the Rothschilds. You could think of these elite Jewish rabbis that have the real information of the tree and of the occult. And what I mean by that is they actually have the documented, they have documentation of it, they have scripts of it, they have the real information. They know the real information of the tree. They know that the spheres, they know the real order of the spheres, they know the real process of reaching godhood and reaching development, and they're not telling people because it runs in their bloodline, meaning that their bloodline is using these, they're using the Sephiroth in the correct order to reach ascension, essentially. This is what they do. It's just, it's, once again, it's in their bloodline. So if you're raised in that family, if you're a part of that family, then you're gonna get that information. But obviously, how your bloodline can't be that big, so it's the one actual percent. It is literally a small group, or you could even say order of people that are actually working with the tree the proper way, And what they do, and they're aware of it, right? They're aware that they have the right information. They're aware that most people are working with the wrong information. So what they do is they even tell their outer elect. So these inner Jewish rabbi magicians, the Rothschilds, this inner bloodline is feeding the wrong information purposely, even to their outer elect. So these people are the inner elect. They're even feeding the wrong information to their outer elect, meaning the people right outside of them, the people that they would even call their friends, right? Friends. They're feeding them the wrong information because everyone that works with the tree from the backside and gets dumped into the cliff off gets fed upon, and that energy will eventually go back to people like me as a black magician, or people like them that are using the tree in that manner with that intention. So that inner elect, that 1%, they're using, they're giving that false information so that people get fed upon, and that energy goes back to them. And and it goes deeper than that. They have actual spirits that they communicate with, alien types of spirits. These are alien, like interdimensional types of spirits that specifically are meant to feed on people. So what they do is they make strong connections with these spirits, and they try to lower the vibration of society or of people in general so that these spirits can feed off of them and bring that energy back to them as well. But the thing that they don't realize, that 1%, that inner group, what they don't realize is that they're being fed upon too. So they have a massive astral parasite that's running their bodies and running their mind. And that's why when you see these people like the Rothschilds or any of these really elite people that, and most people don't talk about them, they sound like, if you were to meet them or you were to communicate with them, they sound like aliens. They really sound off. Something sounds off about them, like something's inside of them controlling them. And what that is an astral parasite, because of the way that they're working with the tree and what they're trying to do. They're trying to control nature to such a degree where nature can't evolve the way that it needs to evolve, which can't work. It's not gonna happen. So they've been doing this for a long time, but now nature's reaching its cycle where every cause has an effect, right? That's what karma is. Every cause has an effect. The cause that these people have done, feeding all this wrong information, purposely, intentionally lowering the energy of the masses down to a degree where their entities can suck energy from them. They've been doing this for a while, and we know this. We can sense this. This is something that's also intuitive within us, but that's coming to an end now. And we are moving into the age where, they're getting exposed and their powers are crumbling. And this is also the age of black magic. Okay, it's a fact. Black magic is one of the main things that is putting an end to these people that are trying to control everything. Real black magic. Because there is an infernal empire that rules over Earth and evolution of Earth and mankind. And that the more that empire gets worked with, the more people develop themselves using black magic, the stronger the empire gets, the stronger the person gets, and the more you could say the more free range that spirit has to cause changes here on Earth. So for example, if I start doing black magic and I start doing ritual, that spirit can go out and perform the ritual very quickly. That spirit can also influence me to do certain types of rituals that put an end to certain people that are doing things that are against the evolution of mankind in general. So it gets really in depth. But once again, taking it back to the point, there is that real 1%. I'm not talking about the Illuminati. These people are being run by the 1%. I'm not talking about the labels that sign artists or even artists. These 1% are feeding these people, the labels, the Illuminati, the artists, the top artists, they're feeding them the wrong information, and they're having them perform rituals on their music videos. That's why there's so much symbolism, and everything's backwards. So all the rituals they're doing is literally fucking the people doing them, and then giving that 1% the energy because their deities feed off of that low vibration. But with the interference of black magic and black magicians like myself, there is a twist as to what is going on. Meaning, a lot of these, this 1% group is trying to cause a lot of harm in our society, controlled harm. You could say controlled harm. And they have a lot of plans to cause certain events that lower the vibration of people. But because there's more black magicians, and there's black magicians that are taking their practice very seriously, and they're really developing themselves and increasing their power, there are black magicians, even like myself, that take offense to what's going on with this 1% in regards to, I've been affected by that. I have been affected by that. Before I got into magic, I know I was aware of this bullshit. I was aware that there was people out there that were doing things that were not right, and that was affecting me, and it fucked me up. For a period of my life, I went through some dark shit that I didn't necessarily have to go through. Obviously, it made me stronger, made me a better person. But I to this day, I can take offense to that, because if I hadn't been strong enough, like most people aren't strong enough for that, to go through what it was that I went through, shit, I would have probably died. I would not be here right now. So I take offense to that. So some of my magic is geared towards, making sure that evolution happens the way it needs to happen. And with that little intention, that can do a lot. And not only, I also can go in depth with it as well. Like I've done very powerful rituals before, and I've seen directly who it's affected in regards to this 1%. I've worked with very intense, powerful spirits, and I've said things like, I'm pretty much doing, like, there's been times where I did rituals saying, I want the spirit to manifest its intention through me. I want the spirit to do a ritual through me, whatever the spirit thinks whatever it is that needs to be done. And I also want it to be aligned with my own empowerment. And I've seen what happens when I do rituals in that nature, and it directly affects this 1%, this group of people that are trying to control evolution and trying to stop things from naturally taking place the way that it needs to take place, so that our society can move into a more balanced state of being. Okay, so yeah, so that's pretty much what it comes down to. This inner elect, this real 1%, they're feeding the wrong side of the tree so that you work with it from the backside. They recognize most people are going to work with the Sephiroth rather than the Qliphoth. Most people are going to work with the Sephiroth. That's why religion is constantly pumping, the devil is bad, demons are bad, God is good, because they want to build that idea in your mind that there is a good and that these things are evil, so that you don't study the Qliphoth, because through the Qliphoth, that's where you can learn to become a black magician and start to use your power to stop these people. And then on top of that, you just become immune to anything that they try to do to you. For example, they can't touch me. If they try, then they're gonna regret what they did. That's 110%, and it's not gonna affect me. That's a fact. And I'm sharing a lot of information in this video. This is not something most people are talking about, but someone's got to talk about it. So, so they tell you, there's demons, the devil, stay away, it's evil, it takes you to hell, yada yada yada. So then, it's more likely that when someone becomes spiritual and wants to be a spiritual adept, that they're going to work with the Sephiroth, because at some point they probably will come across the Tree of Life, and then they'll be more inclined to work with the Sephiroth rather than the Qliphoth, because they've heard about demons before and the devil, and they think it's all evil and it's all gonna just destroy them and make them, take their life away, whatever, rip their soul out of their body, and they'll be nothing. So then they'll work with the Sephiroth, but they'll be working with the wrong information, working from the backside. They'll be probably doing rituals that they've studied from the book, maybe the Golden Dawn or other books and they're probably going to start doing rituals that other people have told them to do, or copying other people's rituals and doing those. And those rituals are going to literally trap this person, lock them in, dump them into the Qliphoth, and they're not even going to recognize that they're in the Qliphoth. So then they're going to be fed upon not only by the parasitic entities that the 1%, that the inner elect have to feed off their low vibration, but they're also going to be fed upon by the Ars Goetia and the dark gods. And that's just something you don't want, okay? Something you don't want. So that's that. Once again, if you want to know a little bit more about this reversal of the tree, definitely, once again, check out the book, The Holy Kabbalah. Okay, The Holy Kabbalah. It talks about this. And if you want to know a little bit more information in regards to the person that I've been learning this from as well, then please feel free to send me a message. I prefer that you send me a message on my direct message on Instagram, and I will send you the videos. I will show you. I'll show you the person that gave me this information. So yeah, so that's that. So I'm gonna leave it here. I think this was enough information. Definitely look into it for yourself, and yeah, that's it. So other than that, hit the thumbs up if you like the video. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell because I'm posting videos as often as I can. And once again, go to the description. That drop down description, the first link at the top, that's going to take you to my Patreon. When you click that, you've got to be a tier 2 member to gain access to all of the exclusive content that is not on my YouTube channel, just to make you aware again. Then you go to the second link below that one, below my Patreon link. That's going to take you to the Facebook community. You see that link, click that link. You're going to see a pin post that says private group. Click that, request to join the private group. Once I get 50 people in that group, I'm going to be posting consistently in the form of written and in the form of pictorial quotes. So definitely tune in for that. But other than that, I'm going to leave it here. I hope you guys have a wonderful, guys and gals, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day or night, wherever you are, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.